Hey there, super friends. It's Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today is Wednesday, June 12th, 2019. It's been a while. What the fuck are you doing? It's cool. It's cool. I'm sure, you have a more pressing place to me than I do. Jerk. So, it's been a little bit. For reasons. We're not really going to talk too much about them. We're just going to roll right along here. So many things have changed. Oh my god. Well, maybe not changed. Things have happened. Yuya Watanabe's been bounced out of not only the MPL, but expelled from the Hall of Fame. And suspended from the DCI for, I think it was like 2.5 years, 3 years, something like that. Still no word on what's going on with Owen, I guess, but people seem to think they're still investigating that, or I don't know. We'll see whatever comes of that. So, and Jerry Thompson voluntarily left the MPL. That was the other thing that happened that I was thinking of. So in their place, we've got Jess Estefan and Savich, I think that's how you say it, who was a very prominent Hearthstone streamer that has come over to MTG Arena. He did very well in the Mythic Invitational Tournament. Jess Estefan, not only, is a woman, so the difficulties women face in Magic. Which, I mean, all, joking bullshit aside, I will say one place that I don't often think about it, and that's just, I think, because of my age, and I don't know, I guess maybe it's all the male cousins I had as a kid that I don't know. It doesn't bug me to travel with the guys from my local shop, but, they're also, they're my friends. And I'm in my mid-30s, have been married for over a decade, and have 3 children. So, not really anything anybody's interested in, So no, I'd rather share a room with Fulmer and Vance than with, say, Emma Handy and Cat Light. Nothing against Emma and Cat, but I don't know them. But I know the guys. Some women are much less comfortable with that, and probably a lot of it comes from less feeling of acceptance from their local community. Because, let's be honest, some LGSs are really shitty. But anyway, so not only does she face the traditional troubles women face in the grinder life, but she also lives in goddamn Australia. What do they get, 3 GPs a year? And that's for all of Australia. The only place in the world that has the designation of being both a country and a continent in and of itself. Let's cut her some slack here. To have the resume she does while being exiled to an island, continent, place. Yeah, that kind of fell apart on me. I think I saw her say that flights to get out of Australia are $3,000. And if you go way back and listen to the Bash Brothers podcast that they did right after the Mythic Invitational when they had Andrea Mengucci on, listen to Mengucci talk about how mind-blowing it is how many GPs happen in the United States each year as opposed to all of Europe. So, just to put that in perspective a little bit, she is kind of out of the way and still has built an impressive resume. As far as the thing with Savich, that is a sponsorship in the very truest sense of the word. Savich has a lot of eyes on him online. Watsy wants those eyes on Arena. Do you think that's okay? That's right? That's wrong? I mean, that is definitely up for discussion. But I can get everybody's frustration with not being able to see a clear line. You know, there with the first 32 MPL members, well, I think they were within the top 35, if I remember correctly, players in the world. Like, somebody declined joining, somebody else, like, couldn't be part of the MPL for some reason, or, like, something happened. But anyway, so, you know, hey, okay, I get it. They're the top X players in the world. Got it. And then we had some shifts and change happen, and some people had to be shown the door, and they kind of randomly appointed people. And I don't think anybody questioned Autumn, because not only do they, you know, fit an underrepresented demographic, so it pushes the inclusivity idea, but they also were the first Mythic champion. Like, they were the first one to win the new Pro Tour series called Mythic Championship. So I don't think anybody questioned that. And then we got to Jess Estefan and Savich, and I think people are more upset about Savich than Jess. But because people are upset, it kind of rolled over onto both of them. And now we've gotten the invite list for the next Mythic Championship. Is that one of the online ones? I feel like it is. They not only announced the 16 discretionary invites, they tagged them all on Twitter, which I can see two sides to this. One, it was kind of stupid to tag them, because now every person with an opinion replying to that thread is now replying to all of those people, including people of the opinion that they're undeserving for whatever reason. But I also understand that maybe the goal was for people to be able to then, you know, follow the tag back to that person's Twitter account and, you know, get to know them a little bit. Like, oh, who are you? Apparently Emma Handy's gotten dogpiled pretty hard with that. And, like, that really blows my mind, because not only is Emma, you know, a known, like, prominent member of the Magic community who promotes inclusivity, she's also a streamer with a respectable presence. She is a respected paper grinder and a member of the SCG commentary team. Like, people don't seem very confused when Cedric Phillips gets invited to things. And, you know, Emma kind of checks a lot of the same boxes. So, yeah, her specifically, I don't get, like, why people would have an issue with that. But, I do understand that the confusion, you know, there's no clear goals to strive for anymore. And that's problematic. And I think it would be much in WotC's benefit to define something, give some sort of guideline. Like, of course, I'd like to see my favorite streamers invited to things. Your car is very weird looking. It's making me nervous. But ultimately, WotC invites who they invite. So just keep in mind when you're railing about the lack of definition, the lack of a path, to watch how you approach it, because minimizing the people that these invitations have been extended to and trying to do the whole, well, I'm more deserving or this person's more deserving because, it's just like a really shitty thing. It's not their fault that they were chosen, and, you know, as far as, well, they could have declined, yeah, they could have, but can you reasonably expect that? Hell, I'll tell you now, if WotC would call me up and they're like, so we want to try this new program, And we want to offer you a contract to stream for $70,000 a year and attend one premiere event a month. Even though I don't think I'm really qualified for that in any way and have zero desire to pursue a professional career in Magic, oh yeah, I'd take it in a heartbeat. Do you know how much money I would save on daycare? Like, putting together a streaming schedule in such a way that I could straight up take Bird out of daycare and say maybe put Girly McBabyface in 2 days a week. Not to mention getting to spend the extra time with Girly McBabyface. I have to say, this one's really weird. She is the first of my children that, like, I had a job to rush back to. Alright. Are we gonna play this game? Seriously? I hate your face. So, with the other kids, like, my very oldest, I was home with her for about a year. I worked part-time after the first, 6 months. Then with Boo, I was home with her for about a year. With Bird, I was a stay-at-home mom for 3-4 years. I went back and finished my degree and went back into the workforce. Well, this is the first time I've had a legit real job that I made more than daycare costs. And I have to say, it hits harder than I thought it would. But anyway, all that aside, yeah, hells yeah, I'd take that contract. I'd also probably spend that year finishing my bachelor's. Just so when I tried to go back to my industry after this year and they went, yeah, you really weren't worth that investment, I'd have a good excuse for bailing out of the tech workforce for a year. Oh yeah, I went to better myself and pursue further education. See? It sounds so much better that I took a year off to stream Magic the Gathering. So yeah, I don't think you can really fault people for accepting an invitation extended to them. And to view Magic as a sheer meritocracy, you're kidding yourself. Somebody lied to you and you're just choosing to continue to believe it. Just stop and think for a minute. How much does your deck cost? Mine, I think last husband checked the value on was $1,200 for the Vile Humans deck. Now, did I pay $1,200 for it? Hells no. Nope. But I had most of the humans because I've been playing I've been playing organized play since just after the Scars of Mirrodin block. I've been playing Magic since 98. So, yeah, I happen to have the luxury of having a lot of those cards on hand because I pretty much play Tribal whenever it's possible. And, the handful of cards I didn't have, I bought them while Collins Mullen was kicking ass at that first tournament that he ran an undefeated record with it. Because it's been the modern deck I'd been waiting for. Before that, I was playing Craptron with, no Karns. Or Oblivion Stones. Ugin and Perilous Vault were fine. It's fine. It's all okay. But I had been waiting for, that deck. Because every time I wanted to get into Modern, I'm like, oh, there's so many decks, and there's some neat decks, Boggles is cool. Joey, don't build Boggles. It's not a real deck. Liars. Oh, look, Soul Sisters. I love Train. Don't build Soul Sisters. Not a real deck. Alright, to be fair, Soul Sisters isn't. Martyr Proc is. But, every deck I'd get into, everybody was like, that deck's trash. Why? And I'm like, because it looks fun. And then Human sprung up, and I was like, yep, on it. And that happened to be right before a reprint of Horizon Canopy and Aether Vial, so I got those fairly reasonably. But I mean, I did drop $400 on Hierarchs and Caverns. So, and, you know, I had the bandwidth to do that because I had gotten a bonus for a project I'd worked on at work that people were really impressed with. And that's great, but, like, I have a really good job. Husband has a really good job. We make a measurable amount of money, which allows me to drop $400 on 8 pieces of cardstock. Not everybody has that luxury. And that's not even including the costs of grinding paper tournaments. So, and I get there's, like, you know, the Mox Championship and the MCQs online and everything. And that does help. But, I mean, look at where we're at now with all these people putting GoFundMes out there because they got an invite to Barcelona and they can't get there. And, you know, look at the douchebags on Twitter shaming them for it. Oh, well, you knew what you were playing for when you got there. I mean, yeah, you did. That's a fair assessment. But at the same time, maybe they didn't have a concept of how much it would cost. Would be nice if we could defer invites. Or maybe they did have a concept of how much it would cost. They were like, you know what, I'll go play and I'll figure it out later. I have to say, though, and I've always advocated not spending money that you didn't have on Magic tournaments. You know, if you're like, well, I'm really good at this format and I could pay my rent, or I could fly halfway across the country and play in this GP in this format I'm really good at, and then I could win, like, more money. No, that's a bad idea. That being said, I think all these people starting GoFundMes, seeing what help they can get, is actually more responsible because they're not spending their rent money on a plane ticket to Barcelona hoping to win big. They're saying, well, let's see if I can get enough people to help me get there. William Pullum had a take on this that I actually thought was pretty good. That while he doesn't find the GoFundMe model sustainable, because, yeah, seriously, how long are people actually going to be able to get these trips funded for until, like, people stop giving money to it? He doesn't begrudge anybody who's doing it now that they took away the travel award. And he did mention something about selling percentages, which is a fascinating concept. So in that case, you're, like, straight up getting people to sponsor you going by saying, hey, you give me $100 and I'll give you 10% of whatever I win. And I think it's a fascinating idea. For some players, I think that would be very feasible. For other players, I'm not sure. You know, like, bottom prize is $500. So I give you $100, and it's possible that I only get $5 back. That's a little rough. Oh, and as far as the people pointing out that they get $500 just for showing up, it's the same problem I had with the original structuring of the Affordable Care Act, kind of what we got going on now, is the whole, like, oh, well, we'll give you a tax credit for, you know, what you're paying into health insurance. I don't know about you, but my old landlord would not have taken kindly to me saying, well, I'm going to pay you $200 less each month for rent because, see, I'm paying for health insurance with it. But then when my tax return back, I'll pay you all that money I owe you. They wouldn't have been down with that. And it's the same thing here. You can't call up Delta and be like, hey, I need a flight to Barcelona. Oh, how am I paying? Well, I'll give you the $500 I get when I get there. Oh, wow, that sentence was really poorly formed. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. They could hand you $5,000 when you walk through the door. Now, then you could sell percentages better. Because now you're guaranteed a certain amount of return. But it still wouldn't get these people flights on credit. And as far as, well, you can put stuff on a credit card, one, that is a horrible fucking thing to encourage. But two, not everybody has that credit bandwidth. Especially the youngins. Like, you know, the, say, 18 to 22 crowd, they probably don't have much credit history at this point in their lives. So, in any case, I think the GoFundMe things are fine, and I've retweeted every one that I've seen come up in my feed, along with everybody dumping on the people being shitty about it. So, oh, wow, I can't believe we're almost home. It was like, 6 weeks of ranting all pent up. But yeah, I guess the moral of the story is, like, just don't be a douchebag. You can have problems with the system. You can say that, it's shitty that they took away travel awards. Or that you don't like that there's not a clear and defined path. And that's fine. You can say these things without dogging on the people who have either benefited or are, trying to get people to help them get there. Of course, I say this as somebody who, has zero interest in ever really playing in a Mythic Championship. I've said it before. I would not get on a plane to go lose to Magic players. If I got invited to, MC Richmond, yeah, I'd probably go. I can drive there. But Barcelona? I don't even have a passport, man. Sounds like a lot of effort just to go lose to Magic players. Oh, there's Bunny. Come on, Bunny. Get out of my parking spot. Run away, Bunny. Anyway, so that's where we're at. Hopefully there will be a better quality episode on Friday. Though I wouldn't hold your breath. I started taking a certification class at work for something completely outside of what I do. But I used to do networking, way back in the day, and it kind of has a little bit to do with that. And, I'm feeling a little in over my head. There's going to be a lot of studying involved, which probably means less time to, tune into streams and read articles and stuff. But I will try to have something quality for y'all on Friday. As always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I will actually get to talk to y'all on Friday.